Okay, now we're going to take a look at different bag types and some different measurements about it and what that means to you. So I think it's 5 different manufacturers that we're going to measure, and we'll start here with the Bannatyne Hide Zip bag. The Bannatyne Pure Synthetic bag also has the same measurements, and this is a medium. They're all mediums. So here we're going to measure from the end of the bag down to the tip of the channer stock where the channer would come out, and that measures at 26 inches. We're going to measure the girth of the bag, which is going to be here at the bottom seam, right in the middle of the zipper in this case, right to the middle of the bag to where the base drone is, and that's 11 inches. Now, this next measurement is one that no manufacturer lists, but I think it may be the most important. And that's the space by where your arm goes around the bag. So I'm going to take it here from the edge of the outside tender stock at a 45-degree angle to the seam. This bag measures 6.5 inches. All right, now here's a medium Ross bag, and we'll take its measurements from the end of the channer stock to the very back end. It's about 26 inches. The girth at the widest point to the middle of the bag is 10 inches. And once again, that space where the arm goes across, 45-degree angle from the edge of the outside tenor. You're looking at about 5 3/4 to 6 inches. So it's a little narrower than the Bannatyne. Okay, so now let's take a look at a Canmore bag. Now, this is a left-handed bag, so I had to flip it over. But we'll get the same measurements. From the length, the end of the channer stock to the back of the bag is 26 inches. The girth, again, at the widest spot, so it's the middle of the base drone, the middle tenor drone, it's 10 inches. And then the measurement where the arm goes across, be right in the middle of the seam, 45-degree angle. Is about 7 1/4 inches. So it's a little wider where the arm goes across. Okay, so now let's take a look at a Begg sheepskin bag. This is a medium, and we do have some options of drone placement with this, but we're going to go by the manufacturer's recommendation of the placement of the drones. So here from end to end, from the end of the channer stock to the tip of the bag, we have about 28 inches, 28.5 inches. The girth of the bag, the widest spot, is about 11 inches from the middle of the bag down to the welt. Now, the way that they recommend that you tie in a bag, you do have the options of placing the drones or the blowpipe wherever you want it to be, really. But we'll fold the bag over from welt to welt, find the midpoint, and that would be the center of where the bass drum or the middle tenor would go. Now, from that point, it's recommended that you measure down 3 inches, go back a 1/2 inch from that point. Now, these are the very center points of where the stocks would go, but we're measuring from the outside edge of the stock and not the exact center. And not only that, you also have to take into consideration that that bag is going to get, where you tie it in, there's extra material that goes up, which also shrinks this distance. So I'm going to take it about 1 inch down from the middle of that point, and we'll measure there at a 45-degree angle, and that gets us to 7 inches. So it's 7 inches roughly where that arm goes through. And of course, you can move the drones forward, which would shrink the distance as well, where your arm goes across. Okay, now the last bag that we're going to look at in regards to these measurements is the Ganaway, and this is a Ganaway medium. The length from the end of the channer to the back of the bag is 26 inches. The girth of the bag at its widest point is 10 inches. And the distance on a 45 from the end of the end tenor to the middle of the seam is 5 inches. So there's a very narrow area here for your arm to go across.